Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. Today I thought I'd talk about the inner critic inside of us all, the little voice in the back of your head or on your shoulder that likes to share an opinion on what you're creating, how you're creating, what they think it looks like. And it tends to be a little voice that is a constant when you are creating. I know for myself, I have had an inner critic ever since I can remember as an artist. I would listen to it telling me if I'm not any good at something, or it starts to judge what I'm creating on the paper. It compares me to another artist, or it compares me to the work I've done yesterday and says, look, this is rubbish. This isn't any good. This is, why are you wasting your time? This isn't worth it. I've noticed over the years, though, that there's lots of ways that I can learn to live alongside my inner critic. I've made friends with my inner critic over the years, and I've established some ground rules for my inner critic that is really working. The older I'm getting and the more I'm creating. I've got the confidence now to push aside the critic when I'm in certain situations, like when I'm learning something new or when I'm playing around with an idea. I know that these are not the times when I want to listen to that little voice in my head tell me what they think about what I'm creating. I want to be comfortable when I'm in a learner mode or beginner mode. I don't need to have someone sitting on my shoulder telling me what they think about what I'm making, especially if it's a new technique, it's a new process, and I'm really just feeling my way into it. These are the times when I've learnt to tell myself I'm just beginning, I'm just learning, and I'm okay with not knowing what I'm doing. So the idea of judging my work when I'm learning something new, if you think about it to its context, it's actually a waste of time. Why would I be judging my work that I'm just learning about? Why am I judging what I'm producing if I have only just started doing it? So those are the times when I remind myself, I'm a learner. It's okay to be learning. I don't need to judge what I'm creating. Of course, over time, the more I practice, the more I do the techniques that I'm learning, then I'll start inviting a bit of critique into my work. It's not a critique that tells me that it's rubbish or I hate it or it's no good, but it's a critique that's informative. I might say to myself, I really don't like this area, but I really like this area. How can I change it? Or what would it look like if I added this color to this area? Or what would it look like if I added a different type of mark to this area? So I'm critiquing my work, but not in a totally negative way. I'm not just simply dismissing it as not worthwhile. So that's something I've learned over the years to do. I actually invite my inner critic in when I have been working on a body of work, or I've been working on some textile art. I've developed a technique, I've developed a style. That's when my critic comes in and gives me feedback. But it's always going to be feedback that is not totally negative, that's not totally reducing my work to a feeling of failure. I know that a lot of people have started on an art practice and have stopped. Now, if you've always been wanting to do some watercolor painting and you've found a really nice book to start practicing in, you've got an online video that you're watching, or you've bought a book on how to do some watercolor techniques, you start, you love it, but then you stop. Are you stopping because you've all of a sudden stopped loving it, or are you stopping because you've told yourself that that what you're creating isn't any good, it's not worthwhile, you're never going to get good at it? That's when your critic needs to, I guess, take a back seat. It really needs to be put away, and you really need to weigh up the idea that, do you need to be criticizing yourself when you're learning, when you're in a learner mode? They're the times when you say to yourself, look, I'm not going to judge my work. I'm going to just keep practicing. And you could even have a conversation with yourself about, what don't you like about it? You know, you might look at this watercolor flower that you have just painted today and said, you know what? I really like the blue tones in this, but I don't like this area here. So tomorrow I'm going to try something new. To me, that is far more constructive to myself as an artist than to simply say, this is rubbish, it's not working, I'm never going to do this again. So I really hope that you learn to make friends with your inner critic. Teach it how to talk to you respectfully. Teach it to sit on the sidelines when you're just learning. Invite it in, but invite it in a way that it's really constructive to have a conversation with it, where you're learning something along the way and you're open to trying something new. To me, critiquing your work is incredibly valuable, but you've also got to be in that place where you've gone from learning how to do something, practicing a lot, trying a lot of different ways of doing it, and then being able to sit back and say, okay, I've been working on this technique for a while. How is it going? How is it looking? What am I enjoying? What am I not liking about it? And how will I move forward with it? So that's all for now about the inner critic. I know it's a thing that pops up a lot amongst all my artist friends. And if it's stopping you from creating, you know that you've given too much voice to your inner critic. So just keep creating. Over the last 2 weeks, I have been full on embracing the idea of letting play re-enter my art practice. I've been bogged down with filming, editing, making courses, and I realized that I had put the fun on the wayside a little bit. I'd still been doing my journals, but there was a few things that I wanted to be playing around with, I guess. I had been inspired by a couple of artists lately. There was particularly one called Rosa Roberts, who incorporates cardboard into her paintings to produce these really vivid, playful, childlike almost paintings that are really pulling me in. And I got really excited about the idea of using cardboard because, as you know, I'd been starting to collect cardboard, and it seemed a perfect way to introduce cardboard into my practice. And now, if you're interested, she has an online course which I'm going to pop down in the comments below. The idea of just simply letting go and trying something new and trying something that really excites me, to me, that's part of my creative practice as well. And so I've deliberately put some time aside every morning before I start editing. I will sit for an hour, hour and a half, and have a play with these techniques that she's talking about, incorporating the cardboard into still life. And then, of course, I've started to be inspired by a few other artists too, like Florence Hutchinson, who's been doing amazing work with collages and cutting up pieces of cardboard to create, bases for flowers, collages with flowers. It's really exciting, and I really have enjoyed playing with different techniques, materials I don't really use very often, and just letting go and letting that playful side of creating come to the forefront a little bit more. So that's it for this week. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. If you'd like to see more content relating to your art practices, having a glimpse into my own art practice, and just creating this community that loves art. So thanks for joining me, and have a creative week.